They expected surrender, but Earth responded with its darkest war fleet. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered 17 star systems in less than a solar cycle. Their crystalline warships, powered by harvested stellar energy, had reduced entire civilizations to ash. The Valkyrians had lasted 3 days. The Quantum Collective had managed a week before their surrender. When the Empire's advanced scouts detected the third spiral arm's most primitive civilization, a species that had barely achieved faster-than-light travel, high command expected capitulation within hours. They were about to learn humanity's first lesson: never mistake restraint for weakness. Admiral Kalen Voss stood on the bridge of the U.E.'s Retribution, watching the tactical display as crimson dots representing enemy vessels emerged from hyperspace. 300 Zephyrian dreadnoughts, each the size of a small moon, arranged themselves in perfect formation at the edge of Earth's solar system. Their commander's message arrived moments later, translated through quantum communication arrays. Primitive. Species of Sol 3, you face the inevitable expansion of the Zephyrian Empire. Surrender your world and submit to integration. You have one solar rotation to comply. The message played across every screen on Earth. In the United Nations emergency assembly, delegates watched in stunned silence as the alien fleet's shadow fell across their homeworld. Some called for immediate surrender. Others demanded negotiation. But Admiral Voss had spent 30 years preparing for this moment, ever since humanity's first contact with hostile aliens in the Proxima incident. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "Earth Defense Command is requesting response authorization." Voss nodded grimly. Humanity had learned hard lessons from their early expansion into space. They had encountered species that viewed violence as art, civilizations that practiced systematic genocide for resources, and empires that consumed worlds like locusts. In response, humanity had built something the galaxy had never seen: a military doctrine based not on conquest, but on ensuring no enemy would ever again threaten Earth. They called it the Dark Fleet Protocol. "Signal the Kepler shipyards," Voss commanded. "Activate Project Nightfall. Full deployment." Across the solar system, hidden military installations powered online. Cloaked asteroid bases revealed themselves as massive weapons platforms. The space between Jupiter and Saturn, which alien scans had dismissed as empty void, suddenly erupted with activity. Thousands of previously invisible vessels decloaked, their hulls painted in light-absorbing compounds that made them invisible to conventional sensors. But these weren't ordinary warships. The lead vessel, Hughes Ragnarok, measured 12 kilometers. From bow to stern, its hull bristled with weapons humanity had developed in secret over decades: singularity cannons that could collapse space-time itself, nanite swarms capable of disassembling enemy vessels at the molecular level, and antimatter torpedoes guided by quantum-entangled navigation systems. Behind it came its sister ships, Apocalypse, Judgment, and Final Testament. Each one represented humanity's answer to a simple question: what if we need to win at any cost? The Zephyrian commander, Overlord Dex High, observed the human fleet with what his species considered amusement. "Crude vessels," he transmitted to his subordinates. Their weapons appeared to be chemical-based projectile systems, primitive beyond measure. He couldn't have been more wrong. Admiral Voss opened the channel to the enemy fleet. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of humanity's collective resolve. "Zephyrian Empire, you offered us 1 day to surrender. We offer you 1 minute to retreat. You have encountered humanity at war. You will not survive the experience." Overlord Dex High's crystalline form vibrated with what humans would recognize as laughter. "Your bravado is..." His words died as the first human salvo struck home. The Ragnarok's primary weapon, a focused gravity well generator, locked onto the Zephyrian flagship. Space-time twisted around the alien vessel, compressing its crystalline hull until quantum forces tore it apart at the subatomic level. The explosion released more energy than a small star, but humanity wasn't finished. The second wave of attacks came from weapons the galaxy had never imagined. Psychological warfare. Drones broadcast frequencies that disrupted Zephyrian neural patterns, causing mass confusion among their crews. Viral nanotechnology spread through their communications networks, turning their own systems against them. Quantum mines materialized inside enemy ships, having been transmitted through dimensional rift in 17 minutes. The Zephyrian Empire's invincible fleet was reduced to debris and fleeing survivors, but Admiral Voss wasn't satisfied with mere victory. Humanity had learned from previous alien encounters that showing strength once was never enough. The message had to be unmistakable. Tactical, prepare the Omega Protocol, he ordered. Sir, are you certain? The energy requirements alone. Execute. At the heart of the human fleet, the experimental vessel U.E.'s Eschaton began to power its most classified weapon. Using technology reverse engineered from a dozen alien civilizations and improved by human engineering, it opened a controlled wormhole directly into Zephyrian space, bypassing their defensive networks entirely. Through this portal emerged not invasion forces, but a simple message, broadcast across every Zephyrian world simultaneously, footage of their fleet's destruction, accompanied by a single statement in their own language. Earth remembers its enemies. The psychological impact was devastating. The Zephyrian Empire, which had built its reputation on inevitable conquest, suddenly faced a species that had turned war into science and violence into art. Within days, their outer colonies began declaring independence. Within weeks, their military commanders were assassinating each other to avoid being assigned to human sectors. The empire that had conquered 17 star systems collapsed within a month. Back on Earth, as the last enemy vessels fled beyond scanner range, Admiral Voss allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. Humanity had learned its most important lesson. From the cosmos, the universe respected only strength, and mercy was a luxury only the strong could afford. As he watched the alien fleet disappear into hyperspace, carrying word of humanity's capabilities to every corner of the galaxy, Voss knew they had achieved something more valuable than victory. They had earned the one thing that guaranteed Earth's survival: fear. The aliens had expected surrender. Instead, they discovered why humans called themselves the apex predators of Solthery, and why that designation was about to expand to the entire galaxy. In the depths of space, monitoring stations detected the fleeing Zephyrian survivors, broadcasting emergency warnings to every known civilization. Avoid the Sol system. The species there, they don't just fight wars. They perfect them.